Hey, everybody, and welcome to Intuitive Art with Influencers. I'm your host, Carrie Roldan, and I am here with my dear friend, Rachel Archelaus, who is the founder of the Intuitive Art Academy. Hello, Rachel. Oh, you're muted.
Hello.
Good to see you. And we are joined today by our guest, Madeleine Eno. And Madeleine, even before you say hello, I just wanted to say every time I see you on video, you just glow and radiate warmth. So thanks for being here and radiating your warmth.
Thank you. Likewise.
So the premise of this show is that Rachel and I, get to talk with influencers across various industries about pretty much whatever we want to talk about. And we get to answer a pressing question on that influencer's mind with intuitive art. So, Madeleine, you influence authors. And it's so funny because before we got started on this show, you and Rachel and I were talking about how our worlds have already sort of intermingled. And I have your professional bio posted in the notes somewhere around this video. But can you just give us a quick snippet of who it is you work with and how you influence them?
Yes. And I've been thinking about this a little bit lately. I don't know when this will air, but we're in an interesting time right now. And I have worked with a bunch of authors and continue to work with authors who are really writing books with solutions for our times. You know, these books are from healers and coaches and teachers who really are looking at how we're evolving consciously and interestingly, through all kinds of different slices of their expertise, they are offering pretty profound solutions for moving forward in our world. So those are the type of authors I work with. And that might be around money or alcohol or consciousness or manifesting, whatever they're writing about. But those are the type of people I work with. And they're generally first-time authors who have a pretty broad expertise, but they haven't written a book before.
So here's what I love about you being an influencer is it's not, your influence isn't just with that author, right? I've heard, and you are quite masterful at pulling their genius out of them and getting it into a format that is amazing. But through the work that you do, right, through the being involved in the writing of their book, you get to influence their wider audience. How does that feel?
It feels great. And I've felt it, again, not to be a broken record about now, but every day I feel like, oh my God, that's exactly what Monica was talking about. Oh, this right now is what Teresa was talking about. So it feels amazing to see the practical purpose of their work too. So it feels great. Yeah, I feel like we need people's expertise more than ever. And books, to me, are still a huge tool for influencers in our world. And I think people have the staying power to read a book. I think people are reading books more than ever, in fact. So, yeah, it feels good.
So, Rachel, you are an author, a writer, a publisher. Just curious if you have questions, commentary on what Madeleine's talking about right now, right? At the time of this recording, it's like, for many of us, it's day one or day two of being told, don't really leave your house with the coronavirus going on. So, yeah, Rachel, what do you have on that?
Well, I still look for books that I can't find. You know, I'm looking for books on TV writing and pitching shows. And, you know, maybe there's one, but it doesn't exactly fit what I really want to know. And I've looked through YouTube. So there's definitely a gap where information can be helpful, especially in book form. I have like books piled up behind me. I'm reading books all the time. So I totally agree that there's still room for people to add their own voice, and there always will be, because everyone's got a different thing to say. So I love that you help people get clarity on what they want to add to the conversation and help them do that. Can you actually tell us a little bit more about how you do that? And I also want to get to, Carrie mentioned like you went to Alaska and followed bears around.
Oh, yeah.
So I want to get to the point where what you do helps you have a more exciting and adventurous life, like how everything fits together, like how you make your money and how you live are completely intertwined.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for mentioning the bears. Favorite topic in the world. Yeah, well, I think that a book is like an offering in one moment of something, like you said about TV writing or something. It's that's one little container, probably from somebody who has just a world of knowledge. So I find it really helpful when people start, and I think what makes it easier to write the book is meeting one to one, ideally in person, but maybe that's different now. And mapping out the book by really looking at what someone is here to say, like really sitting down, like what were you here to put here on earth to say? Like, what is your message? And really getting clear on that big body of knowledge, or, the huge territory of someone's expertise and experience, and then looking at this one offering, and how can this one offering be created in a doable way that's not going to bring you to your knees. Like, I really liken writing a book to entering the wilderness, and it's beautiful and compelling, but then you can kind of get in the middle of it and be like, where am I, and just start going in different places or abandon the trip altogether. So I think when we have a map, we can move through that wilderness a little more confidently. And it's still a wilderness and it's still vast, but if we kind of narrow the focus and have our own particular map for this one offering, and the container really clear, it makes the journey a little more joyful and fun. And I love trying to make it be fun and come up with ways for people to know where they're gonna maybe toss away their mission of writing the book and have some tools in their toolkit to stay on the path. And yeah, the bears were a client who has spent 50 years, he's 70, and when he was 19, he went up to Alaska in a pickup truck with this fascination for bears, and managed to spend a whole summer watching bears, and has done it every summer since, for 50 years of watching bears. And he invited me, we finished his book and he invited me up there. He wrote kind of a memoir and kind of a call to action for what the bears are telling us about where we're going and the environment and what we can do. So yeah, we spent a whole week just sitting with bears for like 10 or 12 hours a day. And it was just the most amazing thing. They're incredible and very hospitable and gracious. And they could care less about us. We were like a seagull flying by or something. They'd kind of glance at us as they walked by. But yeah, it was a really, really, I think it was one of the most spiritual experiences and times of my life, just really being with something that powerful and letting all the expectations and judgments kind of fall away about what the experience would be like. Yeah. And I think people do amazing things. And when there are so many ways to enter into someone's world when they're writing a book, and every world is equally cool, as the bear. Everybody's internal world and internal landscape is just as beautiful as Alaska and the bears. I feel honored when I write a book with someone to be kind of in their head and heart that much for that period of time.
I would imagine the depth of your, because Rachel and I are in the same boat. I think human beings are amazing. Right? Like we're amazing. And when you really get into, like, that's one of the things that I love to do, right? Is like crawl into what makes people tick and what's important to them. And like when you get in there, it, at least for me, I just appreciate that person so much more, their perspective, their point of view, like all of it. And so I'm imagining the work that you do. Like you said, going to, for some reason I want to say Australia. It's Alaska, totally different place. Going to Alaska and just sitting in that wilderness was a spiritual experience, but I would expect that most of your work is a spiritual experience.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you know what? We just don't hit pause like that with our own thoughts. And you know, you guys are, especially, you're in service to other people so much. And when someone's just witnessing what's inside of you and wanting to come out, it's just unbelievable. You know, that pause, I think, is what we all need a lot of, and we're all getting it right now. Yeah.
Okay, so couple things. Number one, yes, we are here to be in service to others, and we're on this call to be in service to you. So one of the things we love is just talking with influencers and doing exactly what we just did, right? Seeing what lights you up, seeing what makes you excited about your work. I love that you do something similar to what we do, right? Your intuitive art is the clarity to know your truth and the confidence to live it. And you're talking, that's what you said. You said part of the work you do with your new authors is, what do you put here, right? What do you put on this planet to say, right? Helping them get clear about that. But we would love to offer you some clarity today about whatever's coming up for you, right? So do you have a question in mind that you would love to get an answer from intuitive art?
Yeah. Well, I think the question that I had asked when you first put out that request was about why, if the whole world is sort of geared to abundance and growing, and like nature I'm talking about is, you know, trees grow big and flowers grow bright. Why is it hard for humans, you know, what to grow and take up the space? And I say that personally because I find I love allowing others to take up this space. And I find it very discombobulating for myself. I'm even like a Leo, and I find it like, ooh, you know, just let me talk about somebody else. And that's how I will be here by talk about. So I just wondered, like, what's going on with that?
It's an incredibly amazing question, and obviously shows like how deep and wonderful of a person you are. Right? Because you wouldn't even have that question if you kind of didn't already know the answer, I think. But we will get into it, and intuitive art will make it very simple, I'm sure.
Cool.
You're muted, Carrie.
It would be helpful if I unmuted. Rachel, do you want to take a quick second to explain how intuitive art works?
Yeah. So Carrie and I both have some drawing paper and some coloring supplies. And what we're going to do is just formulate a simple question from what Madeleine said and basically ask our intuition for the answer. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to let our hand do a little drawing. It'll look like scribbles, more than likely. And within that drawing are colors that mean something individual to us. So Carrie's colors mean something different than mine. And that's how we're able to get the answer. So we look at the drawing once it's done and see what it has to say based on our own color meanings. And that way, it's a little bit of a cleaner way to get information from your higher self or your intuition, because your eyes are closed. So you don't know what you're doing, and it's not inside of you. So it's not like, oh, I just made that up in my head, or I don't know if that bodily feeling is right. Like sometimes we get that yes or no intuition. So it's kind of like using oracle cards, but in a more specific way. That makes sense?
Yeah, super personal. And it's super accurate. So I know you're going to love this. So let's get the question. I need to say the question again to get it on paper and make sense of it. So your bigger question is, I can't even restate it. So your your question is like, why is it easier for me, Madeleine, to focus on helping other people?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a common, I ask it because I think I know this feels like a common one. Yeah. What it feels kind of like an unnatural thing, but like, yeah, why do we do it? Or what helps us get out of our way? Or perhaps that is an easier question, a more positive question.
Yeah, I like that direction because it doesn't really matter why if we don't want to stay there. So how can I more easily feel comfortable taking up space?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Ooh, I was gonna. That is so different than what I would have said, and so good. So we're gonna take a minute to do that drawing. So how can I more easily be comfortable? And it's when I say I, it's Madeleine taking up space. All right, so this will take just a second. This is interesting. They're always interesting.
Are they that fast?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And Madeleine, this could be something that you might really enjoy like learning and doing, because that question, what am I put here to say? You can get answers this way, which is really fun.
Cool.
And I may actually do a drawing on that for our channel because I've never drawn on that before. And I would love to know, like, what am I put here to say? But enough about me. Let's talk about you.
This is what I got for you. And it won't really mean anything yet. But on the outside, so kind of like the container of how you can be more comfortable taking up space, this is my universal love color. So why you want to take up more space is just so that you can experience more of yourself, right? More of that like divine flowing energy that's within you and mingling with the world around you that you're so fascinated by. And so it's such a beautiful, pure intention. You can know that it's coming from an amazing place of why you want to take up more space. It's not, man spreading or greed or anything like that, you just want you want to unfurl more. Mm-hmm. And that's a beautiful thing. And it's supported. It's universal love. And things get interesting on the inside. So I'm going to go over here first. So this is the biggest color in the drawing. And this is, green, my creativity color. And obviously you're very creative. You do a lot of creative things with yourself and with people. You live in a creative way. You think creatively. And so you can lean on your creativity because, when you're creative, you're not self-conscious. When you're creative, you're not thinking about, am I taking up too much space? You're just doing your thing. Yeah. So if you lean into the fact that, this is really about you finding more love for yourself, letting yourself feel more love, and giving you more room to be creative, it's going to help you feel more comfortable because those are very comfortable things for you. And then on the inside, this blue is my alignment color. And alignment is just when we're feeling like ourselves, right? We're feeling good, we're relaxed. We know that we have good intentions. It's not even a question. We're feeling well-being. And so finding a way to align more with that through daily practices or whatever you happen to do now, right? Like you live a very intentional life. And so you're probably in alignment most of the time. So when you here's this feeling, this is my censorship color. So censorship is what's keeping you from being bigger. It's that doubt that comes into your head. Oh, I don't know if I should do this or say this or be this. But the doubt, if you look at it here, it's so out of place. There's like, it's like this darker, muddy color in a sea of really beautiful things. You have love, alignment, creativity. Those are so normal and natural for you. Just like you were saying, abundance is natural and normal in nature and everywhere else. So when the doubt pops up, you can let it feel unnatural. It's like if you see a piece of litter in a field, there's no question that the litter didn't pop up from the ground, right? And so what do? You go and you pick it up and you throw it away. So for you, when the doubt pops up, just be like, oh, I can throw that away. That's not really me.
Yeah. Rachel, you have to know something. So I see my guests, I see their intake forms, and there's several questions that I ask, like their conversation starter questions. And one of them is, what is your pet peeve? And Madeleine's pet peeve is litter.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that I put that.
That's awesome. Well, now your pet peeve can be your own self-doubt.
Well, I love that. And I'm doing a new brand, and the logo for it is a fiddlehead of a fern unfurled.
Oh, yeah.
So like you use the word unfurl. So that's so spot on. I love that. Thank you. Censorship. That's a great word for what this is. Because it feels like that. It feels as dark and as cutting off as censorship. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
It resonated.
So much. Yeah.
Well, good. And my drawing is different, but the same, as they always are. Whenever Rachel and I draw on the same question, we get different looking drawings, different colors, but more or less the same answer. And I have so much fun when I turn my drawing around and see it on screen, because I almost always see something different. So what I just saw that I didn't see before is that this brown thing looks like a banana. It didn't look like a banana when I was staring at it. But similar response. So probably a little more simplified. Purple for me is wealth, it's luxury, and it's remembering that is your divine birthright. So just like in Rachel's drawing, there was that great big, like everything was sort of in this foundation of love. Mm-hmm. For me, it's about your container, right? It was in the container of love. For me, the container in this drawing is the remembering of that. The wealth, the luxury, we use the word abundance, right? Where, and you and I were talking before this call about like the simplicity of abundance, right? That all of that, it's your divine birthright. Right? So being big, even when I think about wealth and luxury and abundance, the feeling that comes up for me is expansive. So remembering that is your divine birthright, right? Just like that container of love that Rachel had. And then orange, that's my alignment color. So I find it interesting that Rachel's blue is inside the container. My orange is inside the container. And orange alignment for me, it is joyful focus. So that's the creativity part, right? That's just being in your joyful focus. And for you, I think that is working with your clients, but it's also expressing your own genius, writing your own book, finding your own voice. I can only imagine all the things that Madeleine Eno has to say after influencing so many influencers, right? Because that's what you do. You are an influencer of influencers. And so it's staying in that joyful focus. Orange has the feeling of being in your fully embodied self, which for you is creative. But just like Rachel said, it's also those practices. So for you, I know that's like walks in nature and yoga and just fully embodying yourself. And then the last one, and this one is important. I'm not sure why it's shaped like a banana, but that color, this brown is rooted, it's grounded, it is solid. And oftentimes, brown is a reminder for me to slow the pace. So I see you raising your eyebrows at that. So what does that mean for you? What's coming up?
Oh, I was just thinking, well, good. that seems to be happening for all of us right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that really rooted, solid, grounded feeling. When we're there, we're not worried about the pace of things, right? We're tapped into, connected to like, you know, I want to say geologic time. I don't think that's right, but divine timing, right? Like the way of all things, which I know is easy for you to connect to when you remember. So that's how I got. How can you be more comfortable taking up space? It's pretty much the same thing, right? It's what didn't show up in my drawing that showed up in Rachel, and I think is important. But that's why these, when we do these, like everything happens in perfection, right? What didn't come up in mine is that container of love. What came up in mine was a container of remembering that the thing, whatever it is that you want. So wealth, luxury, abundance is what that purple means for me, but that's your divine birthright. You're meant to have it.
Mm.
And so it's easier to take up more space when we all remember this space is mine to take up.
Right. You guys are brilliant. Really, yeah. I'm writing it all down. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks, Rachel. Those are incredible. What a potent, full, complete thing in a little momentary sketch. I love that. So cool. Now I get it. Yeah, beautiful.
Well, thanks. That's why we do this. It's so powerful, right? And we want to, that's why I'm doing the show, right? I want to spread intuitive art, right? I want influencers like you to feel that immediate impact, right? To get the answer. But we also want to highlight amazing people like you how many people are we going to send this to who are your target person? Oh my gosh, people who are authors, healers, coaches, teachers, right? That want to get to that, they want to distill their message down to that book that they've been dying to put out. So yeah, that's my hope, right? Is that this is a win-win-win, that everybody gets served. People watching get served by the message. People watching get served by you and what you do, and you get served by being here and getting the answer to your question.
That's fantastic. Yeah, thank you so much. What an honor to experience this with you guys. I'm going to take this and move with it, express with it. Yeah, it's perfect, perfectly timed.
Well, I can't wait to see what comes out of this because, I mean, I've only known you a short time and I'm already in love with everything you have going on. And so just to know that there's more to come is really exciting. You know, like there's even more truth you can share and more adventures you can have. And dropping that, you know, I'm sure it's even just a small part of your life, that censorship. Like that's going to make such a big difference.
I love that. Yeah. I think that's it's the first time I've heard that term used like this, like censorship of the expressive self is really powerful. Yeah. Thank you. This is what an amazing, what we focus on. I've been thinking so much today of like, we are really at a point of choosing what we focus on right now. So much today. There is so much. We find evidence of what we want to see. So this is a perfect way to start this new chapter of of all of our experience.
So my parting word to you are unfurl, girl.
Hashtag. That is great.
Hashtag unfurl, girl.
I love it. And you also said the way of all things. That needs to be the title of something. That was so beautiful. Yeah.
Well, that's what you are. You are a word catcher. So yeah, catch those amazing words. I love being on calls with you, Madeleine, because she has this way of like whatever people are saying, like pulling out the magic, right? Pulling out the like delicious phrase. So I can't wait to see the work that comes from you, not just from the people who you are serving, but from you, Madeleine Eno. I'm excited to see what comes next.
Thank you. Thank you both so much.
And all right, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. We hope you found this helpful, no matter where you're watching this video. I'm sorry if you can hear my husband coughing. I hope we don't have the coronavirus. No matter where you're watching this video, let us know how it hit you. Comment, like, subscribe, share, whatever it is around this video that you can do. Help us out. Spread the message and let us know how it served you. And if you've got questions, post them below. And last but not least, if you've never done intuitive art before and want to take a free class, you can go to intuitiveartclass.com and learn the basics of the method that Rachel and I use today. All right, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to intuitive art and you've never done it with me, go to intuitiveartacademy.com for your free class. You'll learn how to have a conversation with your higher self in 3 easy steps. That's intuitiveartacademy.com. And if you're already a pro or you've done the free class and you want to learn more about creating abundance from your purpose, go to workyourpurpose.com and you'll watch a free video series all about what it takes to create a purposeful income from doing what you love. All right, enjoy, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.